2007, you are a high school senior. So say you are a high school senior in 2007. We are 4 years into the Iraq War. We are 6 years into the Afghanistan War. If you are feeling a call to patriotic duty, a sense of adventure, you're thinking about the training opportunities maybe offered by a career in the United States Armed Forces, where in 2007 as a high school senior, meeting with your military recruiter, where do you tell your recruiter you would like to end up? Probably not in a missile silo in Minot, North Dakota. In the post 9/11 era, who would want the job of sitting through the nuclear winter on the high plains, running maintenance on 30 B-52s, guarding the silos that house 150 giant and largely untested intercontinental ballistic missiles, babysitting the hundreds of smaller nuclear warheads stored in sod-top bunkers like canned fruit shelved in a tornado shelter? We're in 2 hot wars at the time, but maybe you become a missile leader. Consider page 13 of a recently declassified 2007 report on the care and feeding of our nation's nuclear weapons at Barksdale Air Force Base in Shreveport, Louisiana. Among the recommended improvement areas cited in the report, number 1, corrosion on numerous storage and shipping containers. Number 2, forward missile antenna sealant is delaminated. Number 3, numerous air-launched cruise missiles have fungus on leading edge of wings. So while our nuclear-armed cruise missiles were growing leading-edge wing fungus in the subtropical moisture of Louisiana, what was going on in the rest of the military is very different. Other U.S. military flying hardware was having rather the opposite problem. In the words of Defense Industry Daily at the time, those other American flying things in the military were about to fly their wings off, and not just as a figure of speech. In 2006, the Air Force embarked on an emergency upgrade of the nation's fleet of C-130 aircraft. After heavy service moving cargo and flying combat missions as retrofitted gunships, these huge planes' wing boxes were failing. Wing boxes are what keep the wings attached to the fuselage. So you can take your pick of your maintenance priorities as an American taxpayer. Wings falling off enormous gunships in the Middle East and Central Asia from constant use in the longest simultaneous land wars in U.S. history, or sedentary nuclear missiles in Shreveport growing fungus. Nukes and their auxiliary equipment were generally designed to have a lifespan of about 10 to 20 years. Constant manufacturing and modernization were the assumptions back in the glory days. But by the start of the Barack Obama presidency, some of that nuclear hardware had been in service for 40 or even 50 years. Bad enough that the missiles were growing wing fungus and storage containers were rusting through. Some of those problems were at least maybe mostly solvable with Lysol and Rust-Oleum. For the more serious nuclear maintenance issues, we had by then started shoveling money into a program called the Stockpile Life Extension Program, which nobody calls SHLEP, but I think it is essentially a program of artificial hips, pacemakers, and penile implants for aging males. How would you like to be responsible for operating on a half-century-old nuclear bomb? How many nuclear bombs does the United